Nick is with downtownsweets.com. Now, we just find you. There we go. And he has made speeches over the last few years here. He's made them at a larger stage. He's made them on a cruise ship. He's just, as I said.
I follow you around. I'm going to share this actually with Lisa, so I'll just hold it. Thanks.
Go ahead.
So thanks very much. Hi. Well, first of all, Lisa actually is working for Downtown Suites. She's not my business partner. Lisa Taylor is our leasing agent. I'm the president and founder of Downtown Suites. And we're a property management company that specializes primarily in downtown Vancouver real estate, in condominiums. So we've been around for about 20 years now. Downtown, we've been doing furnished suites, and a specialty, I guess, is unfurnished suites. I noticed on the lead-in here that Ozzie was saying that we were going to talk about furnished. I can talk a little bit about that and see the pitfalls of it and the positives and negatives of it. One thing from what I was listening to some of the realtors that were talking here, there's some good deals at home. There was one person talking about somewhere outside of town, they were getting $1,100 a month on around $200,000 investment. You can get that in Vancouver. Gastown, for example. We're getting $1,100, correct?
$1,300, $1,350
yeah.
bedroom lofts.
And those are a little bit more expensive, but the studios are going for like $1,100, $1,150. We've got one in the Van Holm we've been renting for $1,150, and that would probably sell for about $210,000. So they do exist in Vancouver. I guess the thing is, why would you employ us? What would you rather be doing? Would you rather be out sailing on your boat, or would you rather be dealing with plugged toilets and things? So that's where we come in. So this is basically the first thing we're going to talk about is Property Management 101, which is just the basics for all of you. Really, you're better off dealing with a professional company because we are a tax write-off. We're going to be a tax write-off for you with your income, and we're also going to be a tax write-off for you when you do your capital gains. So basically, you either pay us or you pay the CRA down the road. First of all, the first thing though is why would you own a condominium? It's a relatively inexpensive form of investment ownership. The common areas, the exterior, the structural, the building maintenance are all professionally maintained by the Strata Corporation. And you do have the capital gains advantage that if you own several condo suites, as opposed to say one large house, in retirement years you can start to sell them off every 1 year, every 2 years, and you're going to spread your capital gains taxes that you're going to be paying later in life over a much larger period of time. So that's an advantage of it. And plus the fact that somebody else is doing the extra, the common maintenance for you. There are some concerns about that too though. Now if you want to have a manager, it's very important that they're licensed. It's the law actually that property managers be licensed, and you have to take a similar course to what real estate sales brokers take. I actually have a sales license and a property management license, but now it's segregated into 3 sections. There's strata managers, those that manage the whole buildings, and then there's the rental managers, and then there's the selling realtors. Very important that your realtor is licensed though, and also that the brokerage that they work for accepts them as a property manager, and that the monies that you receive from the tenants are actually going into a trust fund. I had one of my big investors from England call me up last year and say, hey, I bought a building up in Rossland, and he's getting something like $100,000 a month, and the realtor was managing it for him. And CRA came after him for back taxes, and they seized all of his rents because the money wasn't in a trust account. He was doing it on his own, and obviously the real estate council were following him up, and I think there's been some charges, he lost his license and so forth. But very scary thing for these owners because if your money isn't held in a proper trust account, it can fly away. It can go off to Hawaii or wherever. So the real estate council is the governing body, and they're very strict in making sure that everybody is following the rules and the ethics. As I said, yes, would you like to do that, please?
I think a lot of people don't recognize that as a licensed salesperson, they are not a licensed property manager to receive rentals. So that's very, very important. Sometimes I think realtors forget that aspect. If they are not licensed to be a property manager, it's separate. You cannot receive rental payments.
Yeah, that's very true. And also the big thing, of course, is having the proper trust accounts. Like the big companies, they have their sales trust account, but they also have to have a separate property management trust account, which is audited on an annual basis. For our company, it costs us about $15,000 a year just to be audited. So there are some very real costs to maintain things properly. We're also, of course, licensed, bonded, and insured. Okay, why would you deal with us? Well, there's potential nightmares. There's flooding. These are all real pictures here. Fires. We deal with at least one major catastrophe a month. We're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. Dealing with insurance companies. We handle the whole thing once it starts, and we follow right the way through with it. So there's an example of a suite that was flooded. Carpets ripped out. The drywall has to be taken out. Generally, when you have a burst pipe in the building, it'll go down 7 floors. So tenants have to be moved out. It can be quite bad. So what are the concerns? It's loss of rent. And then if a pipe bursts in your own particular suite, then you're responsible for the strata deductible. So it's sort of like it's deemed your fault. So you have to make sure that you have your own insurance as well to cover the strata deductible, because sometimes they can be as high now as $200,000. In Conference Plaza downtown, they've had so many slumlords in there and so many leaks and so forth that actually it was $200,000 this year. I know that because our offices are in there, we own our offices. It's really quite a nightmare.
Oh, and also on insurance, if I could touch on tenant insurance, it's very, very important that all of your tenants get renter's insurance, because if they cause, say, a flood by moving in and hitting the sprinkler system, the strata insurance or the owner's insurance may not be covering that, so it's extremely important that the tenant has their insurance in place as well. And we will not hand over keys to any tenants unless they give us a copy of their insurance. And it's only about $20 to $30 a month or less.
Yeah, it's about $30 for the tenants,
Yeah.
and about $18 or $19 for the owners.
Yeah.
Just touching on that, touching on sprinklers, we had that just last year. A tenant in a suite down the hall from us, in one of the ones that we were managing, she washed her sweatshirt and she hung it on a sprinkler to dry.
More than once.
The whole floor was flooded out, and that's in a new building at Seymour and